Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Mustang Arena for JV basketball competition. Please welcome our guests from Apopka High School. They are the Blue Darters. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Starting for Apopka, Jermaine Sibley, Sam Alexis, Donovan Dangerfield, Brandon Southall. For the Mustangs, Rashad Joseph, Jermaine Hardy Jr., Aaron Preston, Lario Pringle, and Jalen Felix. For those of you here in the arena, we want to make sure you're aware that tonight's game is being live streamed, both the JV and the varsity contests. They are being live streamed on the NFHS network as well as YouTube Live. If you have friends and family who are not able to join us in person tonight, you can simply send them to Wekiva Sports Channel on YouTube or have them search for Wekiva or Apopka on the NFHS network, and they can tune in live. For those of you who are already doing so, welcome to the broadcast. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs. I am joined tonight, as always, by Neil Fisher of the Apopka Chief.
Thanks again, Mark. And as always, a fine introduction. Of course, this is the Cross-City Apopka rivalry, and Apopka takes a 2-0 lead.
Brandon Southall puts the Darters on the board.
And just that quickly, it's 2-0 in favor of Apopka. For those of you not familiar with the city of Apopka, Apopka is over on the northwest side. And we are right here at Mustang Gymnasium, home of Wekiva on the southeast side, as we drain the rain.
Mustang 3.
That's Jermaine Hardy.
Jermaine Hardy on the basket.
So a quick start here for both teams, very strong start. Both teams converting not only on their first possession, but their first opportunity, their first possession. There's their first miss of the game, and now Wekiva brings it down the other way. 1 minute into this game between the two Apopka schools, a turnover for Wekiva, and we're going to come at the other end. That's Sibley with the pass and kisses the glass for a 4-2 lead.
Alexis from Sibley in transition for 2.
That's actually 4-3. This is Pringle with the ball, and he's going to draw a foul. 6:42.
Foul is called against Darters, number 12, Elijah Lewis. That's his first personal foul. The team's first.
And as Mark just alluded to, that is the first team foul for Apopka, the first team foul for either team. Of course, about 15 minutes after junior varsity action concludes, the varsity teams will take to the court. That's always a very dramatic filled, as we get an attempted drive by Pringle, and the Apopka defense
turned over, but then given right back to Rashad Joseph. Had a man, but the pass is off target. And we hear Coach saying, Rashad, slow down on the offense, as Jalen Felix didn't really have a sporting chance at that. So back-to-back turnovers for the Mustangs and Darters.
3 consecutive turnovers began this game with both teams converting their first attempt on their first possession. And now both these teams turning the ball over on their last 2 possessions. 4-3 is your score as we drop down to 6 minutes. And Sibley knocks down the J.
Jermaine Sibley picks up 2 for the Darters.
And that makes the score 6-3. Apopka going full court, man-to-man, here in the early going. We are broadcasting live from Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. Junior varsity action between the Wekiva Mustangs, that's your home team, and the Apopka Blue Darters. Apopka rivalry underway.
Mustang basket by Rashad Joseph. Little bunny floater there, gets the job done.
Yes, and that makes the score 6-5. Apopka still in the lead. Got the baseline drive from Lewis, looking smooth.
Elijah Lewis on a Darter reverse layup.
Kisses the glass, and 8-5, lead back up to 3 for the Blue Darters here in the early going. Wekiva in the white is going to get a shot from Hardy. No go, gets his own rebound in the corner. Can't get the second tray, and we're off to the races again.
Lewis trying to get something done in transition, gets bounced by Jermaine Hardy. It's a no call, and the Darters are temporarily rebuffed. They'll go for the tray. That's not there. Putback not going to happen, but the second does. And it's going to be Sam Alexis with the basket and a chance to make it a three-point play. The foul is called against Mustangs number 0, Rashad Joseph, his first, the team's first.
So 4:56 remaining. The first opportunity for either team to get the old school three-point play. That's a bucket, the converted field goal, and then the trip to the free throw. This is Sam Alexis at the line. He now has 4 points. Be looking for his 5th point of the night. And no problem, gets the roll. That makes the score 11-5. Wekiva comes in with a 2-3 record. Apopka at 4-1. And of course, as we mentioned, the varsity teams will take to the court about 15 minutes at the conclusion of this ball game. As Wekiva unable to convert the field goal, and Apopka getting out and running. They're going to settle down to half-court offense. Dribble drive through the lane. Ball comes loose, but not before a foul is committed. With 4:56 remaining in the first quarter. Neil Fisher along with Mark Barchi. That's the second team foul for Wekiva, and they're going to get the turnover. An errant pass. Hardy off to the races. Tries to get that transition pass. And be honest, he probably would have been better off taking the ball to the rack himself. And they're going to catch a break here on the turnover. No, actually, it's going to remain with Apopka.
Held ball. Possession, Mustangs.
So Wekiva will retain possession of the ball. They catch a break there with the, as you like to say, Mark, one good turnover deserves another sequence. And so Pringle will inbound to the backcourt. Hardy bringing it up, guarded by Lewis as he crosses half court and sets the offense. Hands off back to Pringle. 4.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Dribble drive, pass, tipped out of bounds. Some quick handwork there by the Apopka Blue Darters. Apopka in the blue with the white numbers. Wekiva in the white with the maroon numbers. 11-5 is the score. Apopka has led for about the last 2.5 minutes. And a draw pass underneath to Lewis, who kisses the glass.
Lario Pringle picks up 2 for the Mustangs.
And that cuts the lead to 11-7 as we approach the midway point of the first quarter. Another quick handwork in there by Pringle, and he's off to the races. And he tried to do a spin move. Looked like he got about halfway up and couldn't make a decision.
Traveling Darters ball.
And so Apopka will take possession of the ball with exactly 4 minutes remaining in an 11-7 lead. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi bringing you the action on a Thursday night, a doubleheader. After the junior varsity game, we will get varsity action. Some give and go at the top of the key. Stop, pop, and drop for Malachi Brave.
Malachi Brave on the jumper for the Blue Darters.
Wekiva opened up that lane just a couple of inches, and Brave took advantage, and now Apopka with a second consecutive opportunity on the turnover.
5 seconds under guard. Darters ball.
So Wekiva, 4 turnovers here, not even through the first quarter. I think that's really been their bugaboo. And we'll get another stoppage as the ball goes out of bounds, and the ball will remain with the Blue Darters, Apopka Blue Darters. So Apopka comes in with a 4-1 record, Wekiva 2-3. This is their last action of the 2020 calendar year, so both teams looking to get some momentum heading into the second half of the season. Of course, junior varsity is the equivalent of the farm system in baseball. More important to the coaches to see these players get some development at this level. But nonetheless, it still is nice to have a good record. As a
basket by Sam Alexis on the pass from Elijah Lewis.
Nice over-the-top lead pass, and that makes the lead 15-7 in favor of Apopka. Apopka in the blue uniforms and a dribble drive slash through that paint will lead to a foul. Pringle drawing the foul.
Foul is called against number 4, Sam Alexis. That's his first personal foul, the team's second. It sends Lario Pringle to the line, shooting 2 for the Mustangs.
So Pringle, one of the names of this Wekiva junior varsity team, and he can't get the roll. He is still looking, he is on 2 points. 15-7 is the score. And no go on the second free throw. So Apopka dodging some bullets here as we approach 2.5 minutes in the first quarter. Couple of missed free throws keeps the lead at 15-7. Now got some double team action on the left wing extended and some contact. It's Sibley with the dribble and draws the foul. And Coach Jackson from Apopka, she decides she's seen enough and says, let's call a timeout and talk about how we're running this offense.
Foul is called against number 3, Aaron Preston, his first personal foul, the team's third, and the Darters will take a 30-second timeout. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Parchi here with Neil Fisher for the JV contest, the first of 2. This was originally a triple header. It was cut to a double header last week. And this will be the final event of the first semester. And we're going to get a held ball, possession Darters. I cannot speak for the Darters. I need to look at their schedule. I know for the Mustangs, they are not participating in a holiday tournament this season. They'll just be practicing over the break. They were able to fill up their 25-game quota with games during while school was in session. Darter basket by number 24, Brandon Southall.
And that increases the lead to 17-7 with 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Wekiva answering just as quickly, though.
Jermaine Hardy Jr. has the Mustangs answer.
And looking at the schedules, of course, in this crazy season, this could change on a dime, on a notice, but as of now, Apopka does not have any tournament inclusion during the Christmas holiday break. As we're going to go back to the free throw line.
Sam Alexis is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Darters. The Mustang foul is called on number 0, Rashad Joseph. That's his second personal foul, the team's 4th. Alexis with 7 points in the book so far tonight has a chance to make it up to 9. First is a hit.
Yeah, so looking at the Apopka schedule as of now, and again, just remind you that it's always tentative in this 2020-21 season. This will be the last game of the first semester for Apopka as well as Wekiva. And then they begin, their next game will be on January 5th against Jones. And then they will take on Dr. Phillips on the other side of town on January 8th.
Jermaine Hardy Jr. floats in 2 from the key.
And that decreases the lead once again to 19-11. And
picked up by the Mustangs. Lario Pringle takes advantage of a dropped dribble, and he drives the paint. Foul is called against the Darters. Number 24, Brandon Southall. That's his first personal foul, the team's 3rd. It sends Lario Pringle to the line, shooting 2 for the Mustangs.
So an opportunity for Wekiva to get that lead back down to 2 possessions. First free throw good for Pringle. That'll bring them up to 3 points on the night. 1:12 remaining in the first quarter. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi.
Jalen Felix comes into the game for Wekiva during the break. And a short one bounces in. So Lario Pringle gets the benefit of the rim on that one. He's up to 4 points tonight. A little trouble for Dylan Mankauskas. And the Darters will slow things down, reset a little bit here as we dip under a minute remaining in the first quarter. To the corner, Trey looking for Mankauskas, and it's not there. Putback is too hot coming in from Brave. And a second offensive rebound by Southall is stolen by Pringle, and the Mustangs go to work. To the corner, not there. We'll go back out to the outside. 35 seconds to go in the first. Trey, not there for Pringle, and the rebound goes to Sam Alexis.
Yeah, Alexis doing some work under the board there. Of course, he's the tallest player on the court, but nonetheless looks very solid in his fundamentals. And 15 seconds remaining. Blue Darters, Apopka is going to look to set up for the last shot. We're now under 10 seconds. Back up to the top of the key. That's Sibley. 5 seconds. He's just going to fire away. No good off the rim, and the rebound pulled down by Wekiva.
That takes us to the end of the first quarter. At the end of 8 minutes, it's a 6-point advantage for the Blue Darters. 19-13 is the score at the end of the first. We'll take a break. We'll be right back here at Mustang Arena after this. The Mustangs have the opening possession of the second quarter. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva High School, joining you along with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, ready to take you through the second quarter of JV basketball action between these crosstown rivals, the Apopka Blue Darters and the Wekiva Mustangs.
Yeah, both these schools about 5 miles apart. Apopka in their blue uniforms with the white number. Up on the northwest side, there you get the turnover, and we're off to the races, and that's Alexis.
Yeah, can't get the dunk. Too cute by half there. Layup probably would have been the wiser decision in that situation. Hardy can't get it to go on his end. We're going to get a held ball, possession Darters.
And so Wekiva in the white jerseys with the maroon numbers over on the southeast side. And we are broadcasting to you live from their home gymnasium, a.k.a. Mustang Gymnasium. And they are trailing 19-13 early in the second quarter. Apopka has led since about 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. They scored 5 consecutive points. So I'm doing some work. Offensive rebound. The kiss does not go. And Wekiva will take over possession. Again, trailing 19-13. Foul situation, 4 for Wekiva. Apopka with 3. And
Sibley trying to get a trap going there in the corner. Hardy gets out of it. Gets it off to Pringle, who's going to take it all the way himself, and he's got it. So Lario Pringle, coast to coast for 2.
The dribble drive for Pringle. And Pringle now up to 6 points. A very free-flowing game here. Both these teams move the ball quickly. And no, we're not going to get the opportunity for the three-point play.
Elijah Lewis is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Darters. The Mustangs foul is called against number 23, Jalen Felix. That's his first personal foul, the team's 5th.
So the score is now 19-15. However, Elijah Lewis at the lane, at the free throw line, an opportunity to re-increase that lead back up to 6. Of course, now the best he can do is 5. Apopka's led since about 3 minutes into this ball game. They rattled off 5 consecutive points. And and Lewis is going to get the roll on that second free throw attempt. So that does increase the lead to 20-15. And Apopka going with full court, man-to-man defense as Hardy drops the ball off to Pringle. Pringle over to the right wing down along the baseline. That's Baker, who sinks his first action of the night.
Foul is called against number 20, Donovan Dangerfield. That's his first personal foul, the team's fourth. That was on the floor. Mustangs get the ball at the opposing baseline.
So 6.5 before halftime. 20-15 is the score. Apopka in the lead. Blue uniforms, white numbers. Wekiva with possession. White uniforms, maroon numbers. And action is coming to you from Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. Stick around about 15 minutes after this game, which is the junior varsity teams. The varsity teams will take to the floor. And got some good defense going up here at the top by Sibley. And finally, Hardy gets rid of the ball, and we got a foul called as a result of that quick pass.
Darter's foul is called against number 12, Elijah Lewis. That's his second personal foul, the team's fifth.
And with this inbound from Pringle, he's going to go, oh.
Backcourt violation, Darter's ball. Now that was his Butterfingers there, no better explanation for that.
Yeah, although the pass could have been a little bit easier to handle. That was one of those passes into no man's land where if you're the receiving player, you have to make a decision quickly. Certainly shouldn't be an issue at the varsity level, but again, junior varsity is where they develop the skills. And you can see that on that inbound pass. In the meantime, offensive rebound and an interception, and we're going to come down to the Apopka end.
Well, Aaron Preston took over that one for the Mustangs. Pringle goes to the corner. The tray is short for Joseph McCray, who just came into the game. And the Darters get the rebound, go to work at the other end.
Alexis pulling down the rebound. A quick pass from Alexis as well.
Putback not going to go. Second putback also won't fall for Alexis. And struggling into the paint for the rebound is Pringle. He's going to try to go coast to coast and draw a foul. Foul called against Darters, number 20, Donovan Dangerfield. That's his second personal foul, the team's sixth. And let's see if they're going to say that was shooting or ground. They are saying that is a ground foul. It will be Mustangs ball at the opposing baseline.
20-15 is the score.
Adonis Davis comes into the game for the Mustangs from McCray. To the paint. Nice inbound, and that is Jalen Felix from Hardy for two.
And that cuts the lead to 20-17, 5:20 in the second quarter. As both these teams looking to get some momentum and some confidence heading into next year. Of course, we are approaching the halfway point of the season, even for the junior varsity. They do not play as many games as the varsity teams, but nonetheless, we are at roughly the midway point at the end of the first calendar year.
Shot is blocked by Dangerfield, makes it go off the Mustangs, so the Darters will get the defensive team rebound there. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Joseph McCray. Mustangs will back off on the full court pressure, at least for this drive. Sibley takes the ball up, less than 5 minutes to go in the first half. To the paint, Alexis flings one over his shoulder, can't get it, gets his own rebound though, and there it is. Sam Alexis on the putback, taking advantage of that height. He's pretty tall for a JV player, and it makes a difference on the rebounding efforts.
Yeah, and so far, again, we are the Wekiva in-house team, so we don't get to watch a lot of Apopka. But being that they are the crosstown school, we have seen them a couple of times.
Dangerfield nearly got the pick there, but he had to go out of bounds to do it.
And from what I've seen, Mark, speaking of Alexis, he does look like a very fundamentally sound player. He has that good size, as you alluded to, but he does know how to use it, and he's getting better and more solid in using that size. In the meantime, the tray from Hardy, it's a no-go. And speaking of Alexis, he pulls down yet another rebound. And a nice job on the outlet pass, and that's kissing the bank.
Dangerfield for 2.
And that ups the lead to 24-17, 4 minutes before halftime.
Apopka has not trailed in this game, but the Mustangs have kept it in an arm's reach, and here we're going to get a foul, and this one is going to put us at the free throw line. Foul is called against number 20, Donovan Dangerfield, his 3rd personal foul, the team's 7th. That will put the Mustangs into bonus. Aaron Preston will be at the line shooting 1-1.
And we got some player rotation as we are now 3 minutes 59 seconds before halftime. At the line will be Preston. Preston still looking for his 4th point of the game, and he will not get it on this time. Another missed opportunity for Wekiva to cut into that lead.
Nice double team work there. And we're going to pause for a timeout here. 30-second timeout requested by Apopka.
And so when we return, the score will be 24-17. Apopka in the lead. This is the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network. We return to Mustang Gymnasium, home of the Wekiva Mustangs. From Apopka, Florida, the first of 2 games tonight. The junior varsity teams on the court right now. Apopka in the blue, and they have a 24-17 lead, but they will lose possession of the ball with the over the court.
Jermaine Sibley is called for a backcourt violation. Mustangs ball.
And Wekiva in the white uniforms. Again, they are the home team.
Jermaine Hardy Jr. returns to the game for Wekiva.
And they trail by a 24-17 score, 3:30 before halftime. This certainly has been a very typical junior varsity game in the aspect that we've seen some good play and some stretches of not so good play. Some inconsistency. That
pass break opportunity here and will not convert, but Brave is there to salvage the play for the Darters. Trey is not going to fall for Southall, and the rebound goes to the Mustangs. And an interrupted dribble. Southall nearly beat Hardy to that one, but Hardy pulled it in just in time, takes the jumper. He needs to grow by about 4 inches if that's going to go. And it goes out of bounds on the air ball.
And there's what I mean by the not so good play. Seen a lot of situations where one team will be forced into turning the ball over or taking a bad shot, and then the opponent does the exact same on the other end.
Pass into the paint, nobody there, and it goes into the waiting arms of Jalen Felix. Mustangs fast break, and it's there. Felix to Pringle for 2. Just like that, the Mustangs have cut this to a 2-possession game.
Yes, 24-19. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi.
And we're going to get a ground foul here. Mustang foul is called against number 10, Joseph McRae. That's his first personal foul, the team's 6th.
So for those of you not familiar with Apopka, this is a intra-city rivalry. Apopka, which again is in the blue uniforms with the white numbers, they are the Blue Darters. Wekiva in the white jerseys with the maroon numbers, they are the Mustangs. They're both located in the city of Apopka, the Apopka High School on the northwest side, Wekiva on the southeast side, as we got some under-the-basket action.
Yep, and the Mustangs disrupt that pass, and it gets picked off by Hardy, then blocked at the other end by Brandon Southall. So a lot of movement, a lot of frenetic action, no real opportunities to run sets with the way these two teams are playing. And now finally things will calm down just a little bit as the Mustangs go to the baseline, have Felix there. He tries to take it himself and gets a foul. Foul called against number 4, Sam Alexis. That's his second personal foul, the team's 8th. That will put the Mustangs at the line.
Yeah,
and it is bonus for Wekiva.
Some confusion there for a few minutes. Everybody lined up as if the ball was going to be inbounded.
Shooting 1-and-1 for the Mustangs, number 23, Jalen Felix. Felix has 2 points so far tonight. We'll try to add 1 or 2 more here. Of course, with 1-and-1 bonus on the 7th, 8th, and 9th fouls each half. You have to make the first to earn the second, and Jalen Felix has done just that.
And speaking of fouls, as Mark just mentioned, Apopka has committed 8, so that means Wekiva will be in the bonus the rest of the way throughout the half. 24-21 is the score, and 2:15 remaining in the half. However, Wekiva has 6 fouls, so Apopka will be in the bonus as well the rest of the way, and an opportunity by the wayside for Apopka.
Out of bounds, Mustangs ball. Now we'll be shooting on every defensive foul for the rest of the game, or excuse me, for the rest of the half at least. And Wekiva takes over here on the turnover. This is an opportunity to tie the game or at least draw it to within 1, but it is squandered as Brave picks up a fumbled dribble. Darters try to make something happen in transition, and they do. That's Brandon Southall on the pass from Jermaine Sibley.
26-21 is the Apopka lead now with that over-the-top pass and catch.
Timeout, Mustangs.
And Coach Hardy says, let's talk about this and see what we can do in the last minute, 45 seconds.
30-second timeout called by Wekiva, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Varchi here with Neil Fisher, ready to take you through the last $1.45 of the first half here in the JV contest, this crosstown rivalry, and the final event of the calendar year for both of these teams. Both teams have elected not to participate in a holiday tournament this year. They're getting their game quota during the school year while school is in session as Sam Alexis picks off Wekiva. Neil, on JV games, I do not track detailed stats other than points and fouls, but I have a feeling that the turnovers anecdotally are higher than either one of these coaches would like, and we're going to get a foul here.
Yeah, and as
foul is called against Mustangs, number 12, Lario Pringle.
Yeah,
that's his first personal foul, the team's 7th. At the line, shooting for the Darters, Malachi Brave.
I would guess that both these teams have committed at least 12 turnovers in the first half. Alexis
can't get the putback to go, and the rebound this time is going to go to the Mustangs. Lario Pringle draws the foul. A foul is called against Malachi Brave, his first, the team's 9th. The Mustangs will go to the line to shoot bonus. Pringle at the line for 1-and-1.
And 1:14 left in the first half. 26-21 is the score.
Joseph McRae checks into the game for the Mustangs.
Again with Lario Pringle at the line. He's the leading scorer for Wekiva with 8 points. And he's not going to get his 9th, but Hardy with a good job under the board, snagging that rebound. Passes it back out to Pringle, sets the offense down to the corner. Trey, no good. And Apopka coming up with that board, doing some heavy-duty work on the right side of the free throw line.
And now the full court pressure coming on. Darters avoid the 10 seconds in the backcourt call, and it is good. Brandon Southall from Malachi Brave in transition.
Some quick passing, precise passing. We're under 40 seconds now. 28-21, Apopka in the lead. They have led since about 3 minutes into the ball game. A 5-0 streak put them ahead. This is Pringle, and Alexis again using that height to his advantage rejects, and he's going to get the ball on the other end. And after some loose handling there, dishes and kisses the bank.
Brandon Southall, 2 more for the Darters. That gives him 8 points tonight. He and Sam Alexis have really been carrying the torch. Together they have 19 out of Apopka's 30 points.
Under 10 seconds before halftime, Wekiva likes to get the one more basket, cut into that 9-point lead. 2 seconds, and that's how the first half is going to end. Some good defense forcing a turnover.
That takes us to halftime, and we'll go into the intermission with a 9-point lead for Apopka. 30-21 is your score at halftime here in the JV contest. In our crosstown rivalry Thursday night basketball action, Apopka 30, Wekiva 21 at the break.
And we will be back with action from the second half. This is Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network from Mustang Gymnasium.
The Mustangs have the opening possession of the second half. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here along with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, ready to take you through the second half of this JV contest that wraps up the calendar year for both of these teams. And the Darters have a 30-21 advantage coming out of the locker room. They're going to take a fast break, and it's going to be Malachi Brave with a basket and a chance to make it a three-point play. The Mustang foul is called against number 0, Rashad Joseph. That's his third personal foul, the team's first of the second half.
As Mark just said, 32-21 is the score. And Brave will be at the line with 4 points, looking to get his fifth. Will not go in, but Alexis doing the work under the board, kisses the board as well.
Sam Alexis on the putback for the Darters.
And that opens the lead to 34-21, 30 seconds into the second half from Mustang Gymnasium. This is the largest lead of the game for Apopka. Apopka has led from about 3 minutes in. They went on a 5-0 run and have yet to give up those baskets. And now, well, that's...
Yeah, Elijah Lewis says, thank you very much, I'll take that. And it's going to be Lewis to Malachi Brave for a stolen Darter basket.
And so now the lead is 36-21, a new largest lead of the game. And yeah, like you said, the ball, that was hand just stuck in there. And of course, well, we're going to have another, no, not quite a turnover, but certainly a lot of harassment in the backcourt. And that's now Pringle having all kinds of trouble bringing that ball up, and now he just goes with the football pass.
Yeah, I had to make a pass of desperation there to avoid a 10-second in the backcourt call. Of course, you get a fresh 10 seconds if the other team deflects it into the backcourt, but we're going to get a foul called against Mustangs number 3, Aaron Preston. That's his second personal foul, the team's second. Some personnel changes on Wekiva's side.
And so going back to that steal, of course, for those of you who are not familiar with me, I am a native Detroiter. And, you know, we make a lot of jokes as native Detroiters about the crime. And to be honest, that steal looked like something that we joke about.
And that one's stolen by Elijah Lewis. And Neil, I think nearly all, if not all, of Wekiva's possessions since halftime have ended in turnovers. This one doesn't. That's a shot that just won't go. And the rebound goes to Brave. I think only 2 possessions so far for Wekiva have not ended in turnovers. Elijah Lewis picks up a Darter layup.
Well, I will say this, that Apopka is yet to set into a half-court offense. They have run transition every time they've gotten possession of the ball, so that certainly backs up your statement about turning the ball over, and even when they didn't, you see rebounds like that, and Apopka immediately gets into offense and gets the ball into the front court.
Now, somebody must have had some high-octane Wheaties in the locker room because Apopka has come by storm in the second half. Elijah Lewis to Sam Alexis for a Darter dunk, and we'll pause for a Mustang timeout. Full timeout called by Wekiva.
And Alexis saying, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, which causes Coach Hardy to say, I've seen enough, and calls that timeout. 40-21 is now the lead for Apopka.
We'll be right back.
And we return back to action. Mark Barchi, Neil Fisher. Wekiva in the white jerseys, in the maroon numbers, trailing 40-21 to their crosstown rivals. That would be the Apopka Blue Darters. who are, of course, in the blue uniforms with the white numbers. The score is 40-21. A 9-point lead at halftime has grown to 19 here in the second half. 5 minutes in the third quarter, and that's Hardy. Stop, pop, and no drop, but work underneath the basket.
Number 0. That's Rashad Joseph. Picks up 2 for the Mustangs, and that breaks a 10-0 run for Apopka. Traveling, Mustangs ball.
And so Wekiva, coming out of the timeout, gets a break. With that turnover, an opportunity to cut the lead down to 15. Again, a 9-point lead has grown to 19 here in the second half. And there's your reason why, or the main reason why. A lot of turnovers to start the second half for Wekiva.
Foul is called against Darters number 10, Malachi Brave. That's his second personal foul. The team's first this half. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 12, Lario Pringle.
And so Wekiva goes back on offense, and Apopka getting a hand on the ball, but some body as well.
Foul called against Darters number 1, Jermaine Sibley. His first, the team's second.
And so, of course, this is junior varsity action from Mustang Gymnasium. At the conclusion of this game, about 15 minutes later, the varsity teams will take to the court. And, of course, that's always a big rivalry, not just because of the geography and the two schools being only 5 miles apart, as Pringle can't hold the ball, but Hardy bails him out down to the left corner. Do we got the tray? No, off the rim and out of bounds. Apopka possession. So, of course, for those of you who are new to basketball here in Northwest Orange County, high school basketball in Northwest Orange County, the Wekiva High School opened in 2007, and Scott Williams founded and began the program as a couple of long passes. And there's that man again, Alexis, doing
Put back
work.
by number 4, Sam Alexis. That's his 17th point of the game.
Yeah, Alexis doing a lot of work off that board, going to the bank, making those withdrawals. So, again, Scott Williams was not only the first coach here and started the program at Wekiva, he then went up to Apopka 8 years, after 8 years, or 7 years. So he's certainly very familiar, obviously not with the players because it's been 8 years since he left, but he's certainly familiar with the environment here at Wekiva.
And yeah, actually, Neil, that you bring up an interesting point there because this is season number 14. The first 7 of those were Scott Williams, and now the last 7 have been Coach Lubin. So after this year, Coach Lubin will be the longest serving coach for Wekiva men's basketball.
And got a lot of action going out in that paint, looking for rebounds.
Held ball.
And
Possession, Darters.
42-23, Apopka maintaining a 19-point lead. That lead was only 9 at half, 3:16 remaining in the third quarter. Apopka with the inbound in an open shot for Lewis, can't get it to drop, and we're back off to the races with Pringle on the dribble. He's going to slash and pass out to the corner off that backboard. Nice soft touch for
Felix
Joseph.
can't get it to go either, and Lewis going to get the rebound, send the ball the other way, and we're going to get some bumping on the ground here. Foul called against Mustangs number 2. Jermaine Hardy Jr., that's his second personal foul, the team's third. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Kevin Balser.
2:57 remaining in the third quarter. And
nice work there
by Baker, very active Baker, certainly paying attention. And this is Southall inbounding the ball. He's just going to set it all the way back to the half-court line where Sibley will take it and set up his offense. Sibley gets the ball back. He's going to drive, stop, pop, and drop the deuce.
Jermaine Sibley for 2.
And now the lead has grown to 21, 44-23, as as Apopka is going to that full court man-to-man. A little too much defense there, the foul. 2:33 remaining in the third quarter. So that's a 5-second rule. That's the reason for the turnover.
Yep, 5 seconds on the inbound. That's all you get. And if you take too long, you lose possession.
So also speaking of the connections between these two teams, Coach Brittany Hardy, as we get a turnover, just stepped in front of it. That's Brave, and he's going to be off to the races and draws the foul with 2:16 in the third quarter.
Malachi Brave is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot two. The foul is called against Mustangs. Number 21. That's Davis's first personal foul, the team's fourth.
So Brave will go to the line with 6 points. Again, score is 44-23, so an opportunity for Apopka to further extend that lead. The lead was actually only 9 points at halftime, but the first 5 possessions for Wekiva ended in turnovers and points for Apopka on the other end. And that 9-point lead suddenly ballooned to over 20, and we've been there for about 6 minutes now. So getting back to the connections we have, of course, Coach Hardy is the JV coach here for Wekiva, and his daughter is actually the varsity women's coach over at Apopka. So a couple more connections, as neither free throw is good, and Wekiva still trails by 21 as we approach 2 minutes left in the third quarter. And a whistle as Pringle brings the ball over half court.
Foul called against Darters number 10, Malachi Brave. That's his third personal foul. The team's third this half.
So again, if you joined us late, talking about those connections between these two schools, that's because they're only 5 miles apart, both located in Apopka.
Yeah, Wekiva built in 2007 primarily as a relief school for Apopka High School, although they did pick up a handful of students from Ocoee and Edgewater as well. So Wekiva High School serving mostly the south half of Apopka city limits. As a matter of fact, the city of Apopka annexed the land that Wekiva sits on so that it would officially be a part of the city limits. And we're going to get a soft floater from Malachi Brave for 2.
And so Brave now up to 6 points.
And the second half has been absolutely dominated by Apopka on both ends of the court. We've seen terrific defense and lots of steals, and the Mustang offense largely being shut down. Foul is called against Darters number 10, Malachi Brave. That's his fourth personal foul, the team's fourth this half. Checking into the game for the Darters, Brandon Southall. Jermaine Hardy is back in for Wekiva.
And talked about this second half being dominated by Apopka. 9-point lead has grown into 23 with 1 minute left in the third quarter. Wekiva turned the ball over on their first 5 possessions as we're going to get the 3-point attempt.
Lario Pringle, and 1. Foul called against number 4, Sam Alexis, his third, the team's fifth.
So Pringle dancing along that baseline pays off dividends, and an opportunity now to cut that lead down to 20, 46-25. Exactly 1 minute remaining in the third quarter. Another free throw, no good. We've had a number of missed free throws tonight. Of course, that's fairly common in the junior varsity game.
Pringle on the steal, has an opportunity to get something done in transition, goes to the hoop, and draws the foul. I think this is going to be against Southall. Let's see. Yes, it is. Foul called against number 24, Brandon Southall. That's his second personal foul. The team's sixth at the line, shooting 2 to Lario Pringle.
So Pringle back at the free throw line. Of course, he had an opportunity to get the old-fashioned three-point play on Wekiva's last possession. Unable to get that lead down to 20, but does this time. 49.4 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi from Mustang Gymnasium. And now Apopka's lead has been cut under 20, 46-27. And the story of the second half, a 9-point lead by Apopka when it began, grew over to 20 very quickly.
Pringle with a steal on the inbound, takes the tray, short.
And that's
Pringle scrambles for his own rebound, pulls it in, sends it off for the tray. Davis doesn't have it. Felix on the rebound, and that's going to roll out of bounds. It's going to stay with Wekiva, though. And boy, I'll tell you what, in what has otherwise been a kind of lackluster performance for Wekiva, Lario Pringle's having a great night on both ends of the court. 12 points in the book so far and a ton of steals. And we're going to pause here for a timeout. Timeout called by Apopka, full timeout. And we'll be right back. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here along with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief. And we have just about 30 seconds to go here in the third quarter with Apopka opening up the second half with a 10-0 run. And that has ballooned now into a game that Wekiva is going to have to really turn on the afterburners if they want to keep this competitive.
Yeah, 15 seconds remaining and a rejection inside that paint. So we talked about, as you mentioned, Mark, 10 consecutive points scored by Apopka was how we opened up the third quarter as the inbound pass to Davis.
To Davis from Jermaine Hardy is good for two.
Yeah, and those 10 consecutive points were facilitated by possessions on the first 5 turnovers, first 5 Wekiva possessions. 7 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 46-29 is the score.
Foul is called against Preston. That's his third personal foul, the team's fifth.
So Apopka looking to get that lead back over 20. Inbound to Sibley, and he's going to draw a foul. And that's certainly a foul that Coach Hardy is not going to like with only 3 seconds remaining. And so
number 2, Jermaine Hardy, called in his third personal foul, the team's sixth.
And by the way, Mark, as you just mentioned, 6 fouls for Wekiva. Apopka also has 6. So both these teams will be shooting bonus throughout the fourth quarter. We're 3.6 seconds away from the fourth quarter. 46-29, Apopka in the lead in this Apopka City rivalry game. Junior varsity action. Inbound to Alexis, who's been the man. Does that turn? No good. Off the board. And Wekiva dodges the proverbial bullet, but still down by 17.
That takes us to the end of the third quarter. At the end of 24 minutes, it's a 46-29 lead for the Darters, and a correction to that previous call. It was Lario Pringle called on his second personal foul, not Jermaine Hardy, and so both teams now have 6 personal fouls, and that means that both teams will be shooting 1-and-1 bonus for the entire length of the fourth quarter. Again, 46-29 is your score with 8 minutes left in the ballgame.
This is the Wekiva.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. The Mustangs have the opening possession of the fourth quarter, and they are going to have to really fire it up here if they want to stay competitive in this game. Apopka dominant in the third quarter. The Mustangs, though, otherwise have managed to keep the game within an arm's reach for the first two quarters. We'll see if Wekiva can recapture a little mojo coming into the final 8 minutes here. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher, and we've got a foul. Hold is called against Darters number 20. That's his fourth personal foul for Dangerfield, the team's seventh.
And we are, as Mark mentioned before the break, both teams are in the bonus now, so this will be a 1-1. And getting into it rather early. Of course, you don't usually see teams getting into the bonus until at least 4 minutes remaining. Going back to Mark, his point about a dominant third quarter for Apopka, and that was facilitated by turnovers. A 9-point lead quickly grew to over 20 on the strength of turnovers the first 5 possessions, and 7 of the first, I believe it was 9, Wekiva possessions ended with turnovers. And of course, when you do turn over the ball, that creates transition opportunities. And transition opportunities are usually odd man breaks too as well. So even if you do miss it, as we got some work, the rebound.
Rashad Joseph with a second chance basket for the Mustangs.
So Joseph making the withdrawal.
We've seen that happen so many times for Apopka tonight. Now finally the Mustangs get a little taste of that sweet nectar of the putback. Here comes to the paint, Elijah Lewis, not there for him. Joseph on the rebound, transition opportunity if they can pull it in. Pringle up, and Lario Pringle has the Mustang basket.
And so we talked about this lead growing to over 20 very quickly for Apopka.
Layup's not going to fall for Mankauskas, and the rebound goes to Pringle. He's going to draw a foul at the other end, and it's still going to be bonus.
But now Wekiva with the run, and they have cut the lead down to 12 points just as quickly.
Elijah Lewis is called in his third personal foul. It's the team's 8th. The Mustangs back at the free throw line to shoot 1-and-1 bonus to Lario Pringle. Pringle has 14 points tonight for the Mustangs. He leads the team in scoring. He has an opportunity to add 1 or 2 more here.
Yeah, and further cut this lead down, which he does. Nice stroke there on that first attempt, Mark, as he catches nothing but net. So the lead was over 20 as we got about halfway through the third quarter. Wekiva has chipped away, kept that lead around 20, and now they begin the fourth quarter on a run themselves, and suddenly the lead is all the way down to 10 points, cut into half. So we got a stop, pop, no drop. Alexis, he can't get that soft tip. The little
Felix gets the rebound, but then gets picked off by Sibley, who nearly takes out the coach. And it looks like Adonis Davis is going to come away with this one. Makes his way into the paint, can't get it to fall, but does draw the foul. Darter foul is called against number 24, Brandon Southall. That's his third personal foul, the team's 9th. At the line shooting 2, Adonis Davis.
And the score 46-36, 6.5 minutes remaining. This is junior varsity action. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi bringing you the live action from Mustang Gymnasium, home of Wekiva. They are at the line, specifically that's Adonis Davis. And unfortunately, he cannot cut the lead to under 9. Apopka is in the blue uniforms. For those of you unfamiliar with the city of Apopka, as neither free throw is good, and Alexis with a soft tip keep the ball in bound. These schools are about 5 miles apart. The scoop, no good.
Putback made by Brandon Southall.
So Southall taking advantage of an interior defensive lap by Wekiva. And now Apopka going to a trap, broken by Hardy. And as soon as he brings it over midcourt, we have a whistle.
Foul is called against number 24, Brandon Southall. That's his 4th personal foul and the team's 10th. That puts the Mustangs into double bonus. At the line, shooting 2 for Wekiva, number 2, Jermaine Hardy Jr.
So Hardy back at the line. He has 4 points tonight. More importantly, the score was 48-36, so an opportunity to cut that lead back down to 10. And as you just saw, he's halfway there, converting the first free throw. And the second free throw, this one, another nice stroke, and we're back down to a 10-point deficit. Long outlet pass, and the bounce pass into the paint for Alexis.
Mankauskas to Alexis for the Darter basket. It's textbook right there, Neil.
Yeah,
Mustangs caught sleeping in transition.
Yeah, shades of Phi Slamma Jamma. That's University of Houston in the early to mid-'80s. For those of you who are my age, in your 50s. Of course, Hakeem Olajuwon was the center man, Clyde Drexler, and that's the same play they used to run. In the meantime, we're going to get a turnover.
Foul called against Mustangs number 23, Jalen Felix, his second, the team's 7th. No bonus shots for team control fouls, but it turns the ball over to the Darters.
And so that slam by Alexis ups the lead back to 12, 50-38. And now with the turnover, Apopka can get that lead back up to 14. The spin along the baseline and out of bounds.
I think he outsmarted the Mustangs, but he also outsmarted Elijah Lewis.
Yeah, Mankauskas.
Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 3, Aaron Preston.
And Hardy brings the ball up. Wekiva dodging a proverbial bullet. They can't take advantage.
Yeah, everything about that play was perfect except for the fact that it didn't fall.
Yeah, it rolled off that rim. Couldn't get that roll to go the other way. And at the other end, a foul.
Foul is called against Mustangs, number 23, Jalen Felix. That's his 3rd personal foul, the team's 8th. At the line shooting 2 for Apopka, number 30, Dylan Mankauskas. So, boy, Neil, I tell you what, it's a good thing these teams are spreading out the fouls pretty evenly, because otherwise we'd have lost some people by now.
Yeah, both teams are in bonus. They've been in bonus since the end of the 3rd quarter, as we're going to get some personnel change.
Into the game for the Mustangs, number 21, Adonis Davis.
So, also want to acknowledge Keith Dickerson. He's the head of the broadcast department here at Wekiva, but tonight he is operating our camera, so the video footage is
Sam Alexis on the Darter putback. Yeah, this is, it's been a weird year in so very many ways, and so personnel has been a little bit of a challenge with a number of our students being remote learners, some of them being on campus, and a lot of things going on at home and in other priorities, and so it's been a particular challenge to staff all of our games with announcers and scorekeepers and videographers, camera operators, and so we really want to thank Mr. Dickerson and all of the students who support him for bringing these games to you. We've got a held ball, possession of Apopka.
Yeah, of course, as I just mentioned tonight, Mr. Dickerson is handling the camera duties, but a number of his students have been willing to take their turn. As Alexis can't get the slam. Just enough harassment by the Wekiva defense to impede them.
Yeah, Felix beat 2 guys to get under there and get the rebound, but then couldn't hang on to it. And so it looks like it is going to stay with the Mustangs, but it'll give Apopka an opportunity to reset.
53-38 is the score, 4:42 remaining. This is junior varsity action, and we are broadcasting live from Mustang Gymnasium on the southeast side of Apopka, Florida.
And Elijah Lewis decided to check out the view from the stands.
Inner city rivalry here between Wekiva and Apopka. Wekiva in the white jerseys, maroon numbers. They have possession of the ball. That's Jermaine Hardy, and he's being guarded by J. Marie Sibley.
Rough pass to Felix, gets pulled in. Preston from the paint, not there on the jumper. And the tall guy in the room, Sam Alexis, comes up with the rebound once again. I'm not keeping rebounds tonight at the JV game, but I know he has probably more than anybody else.
Yeah, I would gather he has at least a dozen.
And the Mustangs trying to make something cute happen in transition, but Rashad Joseph can't wrangle it in. That's going to be another turnover, and checking into the game for the Mustangs, or rather returning to the game for the Mustangs, number 12, Lario Pringle.
And of course, Pringle is the leading scorer for Wekiva with 16 points. He has certainly kept his team at least within shouting distance statistically. And Apopka with an opportunity to up that lead from 15, and they will take that opportunity to the free throw line. That's Brave who will be going to the free throw line.
Foul is called against Mustangs number 3, Aaron Preston. That's his 4th personal foul, the team's 9th. At the line shooting 1-1 is number 10.
So stick around after this game. Of course, this is junior varsity. The varsity teams will take to the court. And that's always a great atmosphere. Even this year, probably obviously not as large an audience due to the pandemic. But nonetheless, these, again, schools are 5 miles apart, and these players and even the coaches, they grow up together. They see each other during the off season. A lot of these players play together during the off season, and that always creates a very electric and eclectic atmosphere when these two teams get together. In the meantime, Brave converts both free throws, 55-38, under 4 minutes remaining, and Hardy outthought himself.
Traveling, starters fall.
And just a couple of side notes here, adding to the story as Wekiva is going full court trap. The first coach here at Wekiva, which opened in 2007, as Alexis makes the withdrawal from the bank.
Sam Alexis for 2.
The soft touch, 19-point lead, 57-38 Apopka.
That's Alexis' 23rd point tonight.
So Scott Williams was the first coach and started this program at Wekiva when the school opened in 2007, and he has since moved up to Apopka. And once again has built a team that is something of a state powerhouse.
Foul called against number 12, Elijah Lewis. That's his 4th personal foul. At the line, shooting double bonus, number 23, Jalen Felix.
And of course, when Coach Williams left and moved up the road to Apopka, it was not solely his recommendation, but he did very strongly recommend Jersino Lubin take over the Wekiva program.
Of course, he was the very first assistant coach. He was on the opening team as an assistant coach for Wekiva, then went to Colonial and spent some time there, getting some experience as a head coach, and then came back to Wekiva, came back home, we like to say, after Coach Williams went to Apopka, and he has been with Wekiva ever since. At the conclusion of this season, he will have tied Coach Williams for total length of continuous service.
Both coaches 7 years. And another note about Coach Lubin, he actually, as you mentioned, he went to Colonial to gain some experience as a head coach, but it was not his first experience.
Foul is called against number 3, Aaron Preston. That's his 5th personal foul, and he retires from the game with 3 points for the Mustangs. At the line shooting 2, number 12, Elijah Lewis.
So Lewis at the line, 57-40 in favor of Apopka is the score. So talking about Coach Lubin, who of course now is the Wekiva coach, he succeeded Coach Williams, who, as we mentioned, was the very first coach here at Wekiva, and then moved up the road to Apopka, which adds to the geographical storyline of these two teams, schools just being 5 miles apart. But before Coach Lubin joined Coach Williams' staff here on Apopka, he was the head coach of Evans, taking over that program and leading them to a couple of state Final Fours. And so when he came back, had a chance to interview Coach Lubin, and he said, as we got a block, and Alexis puts his hands up and brings that, but the long outlet pass and score it off the bank.
Alexis to Southall.
When Lubin was called up by Coach Williams and asked to join his staff, Coach Lubin said it's one of those deals you don't say no to because you can learn so much from Coach Williams. And like I said,
Scott Williams is kind of a local legend in Central Florida basketball. He's coached in Polk County and Orange County and everywhere in between, and has quite a storied history. And we're going to get a timeout here.
Yeah, and before we go to the break real quick, Coach Williams is approaching 500 wins, and he won the Class 4A state championship with Mount Dora in 1998.
The Mustangs request a 30-second timeout. 30 seconds called by Wekiva.
And Coach Williams, since we're on the subject, he actually got his first head coaching job at Mount Dora, and of course, like I just said, won the 98 state championship, Class 4A. He then moved on to Lake Region. Then he came here to Wekiva to open this program, and since then he's been at Apopka. And the one thing that's always impressed me about Coach Williams, and I've mentioned this several times to him, is he's taken all 4 of those programs to the state playoffs by the end of the 3rd season. And also just like to point out with Coach Lubin, he of course is no slouch himself. I mentioned he took 2 Evans teams to the state Final Four before he joined Williams' staff here at Wekiva in 07, but he has since upped that total to 3. And of course, Wekiva went to the state playoffs. I believe it was 4 out of the first 5 years that Lubin was the head man.
Sam Alexis for 2.
So you got that history not only geographically between these two teams, Apopka in the blue uniforms, Wekiva in the white uniforms, but you also add into there that coaching tree, coaching background, and that also goes into the women's side as a nice soft kiss. Score it.
Kevin Baker for 2.
Coach Hardy, who's the junior varsity coach, and you can't see him now, but when we come down, you'll see him on the left. His daughter, Brittany, is the head women's coach up at Apopka, and she's taken, I believe, 3 teams in 5 years to the state playoffs.
Yeah, Apopka is one of those teams in girls basketball that kind of came out of nowhere, that they were not making a lot of noise, and then she took over the program and in a couple of years had it turned around, and now they're a part of the conversation in Class 7A. Speaking of classes, it's worth noting that these 2 schools have kind of gone back and forth between being in the same and different classifications. When Wekiva first opened, they were in the 2nd largest classification in FHSAA. Then they were bumped up to the largest, and now they bumped back down to the 2nd largest. Apopka has consistently been in the largest classification for as long as anyone can remember, certainly since before Wekiva opened. And so they are no longer district rivals in the technical sense, but that really doesn't change anything. These 2 schools are going to play each other twice a year no matter what district they're in.
Yeah, again, 5 miles apart. They do remain Metro Conference rivals, and specifically Metro Conference Western Division rivals. 63-42 is the score. 9-point lead for Apopka grew into 20 very quickly at the start of the second half. 5 consecutive turnovers for Wekiva, 5 possessions at the beginning of the second half. Wekiva was able to get the lead down to 10 a couple of times midway through the 4th quarter, and then Apopka re-extended the lead to our current lead of 63-42.
Foul's called against number 12, Elijah Lewis. That's his 5th personal foul, and he retires from the game with 7 points. Checking into the game for him will be number 4, Sam Alexis, at the line shooting. Felix at the line for the Mustangs.
And speaking of Alexis, he is their leading scorer. Certainly a mammoth game tonight, 25 points. We do not keep track of the rebounds, but I would say he has at least 15 to go with those 25 points. And he has certainly stood out tonight. A very well-rounded, very balanced effort by Apopka.
Dylan Minkowskis gets the basket and a chance to make it a 3-point play. The Mustang foul is called against number 23, Jalen Felix, his 4th.
Of course, Alexis is the leading scorer with 25, but a total of 3 players for Apopka have at least 10 points. And I believe 7 different players have scored for Apopka tonight. So, again, Alexis has stood out. He's been the man. Certainly looks like someone who in the future Apopka can count on to man that middle. But it has not been a total effort by Alexis carrying Apopka to this victory tonight, as that should do it. And there is the buzzer. Your final score, 65-45 in favor of Apopka.
That takes us to the end of the ball game. 65-45, the final score here in the JV contest. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out tonight or for joining us online on YouTube or the NFHS Network to support your Blue Darter and Mustang athletes. Don't go anywhere. We've got varsity basketball action coming your way in just about 15 minutes. For those of you watching online, just be aware that the JV and varsity games are each on their own separate events, but they are on the same channel. So just back out to the main menu and come right back in. We'll see you there. And